name is Lauren Huntley, and for my task analysis breakdown, I'm breaking down the butterfly stroke in the sport of swimming. I have it broken into 3 phases. Depending on how you do the stroke, like I mentioned in my essay, some people might perform it a little bit differently just because of body composition or just preferences, natural talents, things like that. Maybe you could break it up into like 4 or 5, but just how I perform the stroke and what made sense to me, I've broken it into 3 phases. And the body parts I focus on are your arms, chest, hips, and legs. So our first phase is the extension phase. And this is the one that I'd say like you start in, because after you're in your dive and you're in streamline, you'll kind of go into extension before starting your stroke. And then after, when you finish each stroke, you finish extending like this. So that's why this is phase 1. So to start with our arms, they're going to be out in front of us in like shoulder width apart. Your hands will be shoulder width apart. This can also be called the 11 position in swimming, but in general it means your hands are in line with your shoulders. Your thumbs generally will be pointed downward like this, and your arms will probably have a slight bend to them as you're just preparing for your catch. Your chest will be driven downward because this is also when we're like finishing up the dolphin kick from the stroke prior. So your chest will probably be driven downward as your arms are in extension like this, and your hips will be extended up. So you're kind of going to be in this position in the water. Your hips will be nice and high in the water, and your legs are kind of just floating and relaxing back behind you. Generally pretty straight, and your ankles are relaxed and your feet are pointed away from you, which is always true in swimming. Our second phase is, I would say, the most complicated phase, is our catch and pull. Some people call it catch and push. Some people call it catch and pull. So we start with our arms and our hands. From our extension position, we continue to bend them, and our arms are going to make this Y, okay, away from us. So they're like this. So our arms, as we start to bend our elbows, make this Y, and this is when we're trying to catch water like this. And our elbows stay nice and high, and we kind of push back, and we're pushing back as much water as we can with our elbows high, and we bring our arms all the way back to our hips. Okay, so our hands keep pointing down, and then as we kind of come in front of our chest, our fingertips start to point towards the bottom of the pool like this. Our elbows stay nice and high, and we push all the way back to our hips. Your chest kind of starts to come up as you're doing this, and as you're preparing to do another dolphin kick. Well, as you're preparing to do a dolphin kick. So as you're doing a dolphin kick, you start with your chest, so your chest begins to drive down and then come back up. And as your chest comes back up, our hips will drive down because your body is moving in a wave motion, and you start with your chest. So as our chest is down, our hips are up in extension. As we pull our chest up, our hips are going to come down. And then as our fingertips are pointed down to the bottom of the pool, we're really working on that dolphin kick, and our knees are starting to bend, and our feet come up out of the water when our knees bend. Okay, so then our feet are up out of the water, and then as our hands get back to our hips, our legs are straightening back out, and we're doing a full dolphin kick. Okay, so that is the catch and push phase. And we really want to emphasize the reason this is called catch and push is we catch the water up here, and our hands go into the Y position, and then we're pushing the water as our arms go underneath us and our fingertips are pointing towards the bottom. This is when we really push the water. We want to propel ourselves forward. This is when in the stroke we propel ourselves forward the most, and we push the most water with our hands. So it's really important that we're being strong, keeping our hands in a solid position, and we're pushing with our whole arm and our whole body. Okay, so then final phase, phase 3, is the pull phase. Some people call this recovery, but I wouldn't call it that personally, but some people call this recovery. And this is when, after our hands are up at our hips, they come up out of the water in line with our hips, and we drive them up in a circular motion above the water, and they re-enter into the extension phase. So a couple of things that are important is our arms don't come back behind us, because this uses way more energy than just this. Okay, we want to conserve our energy, focus on being powerful and not moving more than we have to. So our arms stay in line with our hips, and we drive forward in a circular motion, and our arms stay nice and straight that whole time until we enter back in the water, and we might have a slight bend as we go into the extension phase. We also do a second whole dolphin kick. So like I said before, as our arms come out, our chest might be driven down, but then as we're making a circular motion, our chest comes up with our arms, hips drive down, knees bend, feet come out of the water as our arms are up above us and above the water, and then we finish the dolphin kick, and our hands go back in the water, and this is when we're finishing that dolphin kick, which is what gets our chest down in front of us as we start the extension phase. So those are the 3 phases of the butterfly stroke in swimming. So now I'm gonna go perform the stroke myself and analyze myself doing it and give myself some coaching points. Okay, so I have a couple of angles just to highlight different things. First, right here on these streamlines, you can really see the way that my ankles are relaxed. I'm using that flexibility in my ankles. And using my feet and my legs well just to propel myself forward. So that's really good. And also my arms are like not coming past my hips very much, and that's really, really good. But these 2 angles are good to kind of highlight the issue I have, which is my head moves around a little bit too much. In butterfly, you kind of want, like, your dolphin kick is your whole body and starts with your head, but your head should kind of stay in a neutral position. And you can see that sometimes, even when I don't breathe, I kind of pick my head up just to see where I'm at, and that really disrupts the stroke because it drops your hips. This one, I'm coming out from the back, like I'm swimming opposite the camera. This one's not so bad, but you can kind of see that, like, my feet are up splashing when my arms are not up, so that kind of highlights that my feet are in the right place when I'm in that catch and push position, that I'm, like, timing my dolphin kick correctly. But then one thing coming back this way is you can really see that one of my arms comes up higher than my other. I believe it's my left arm's coming up higher. And that just means I'm not symmetrical, which can kind of disrupt the stroke and get you stronger on one side. But overall, it's pretty good butterfly.